Hi, this video is brought to you by Decaf Tea, Headbands and Facial Moisturiser. Uh, so, the reason I'm making this video is because recently there has been an influx of online content creators, specifically on YouTube, who tried out veganism for a year and a half, decided they're bored of it, they don't like it anymore, and they decide to stop living a compassionate lifestyle, and therefore they make their video to kind of confess this to their audience. So my good friend Michael Liggins created a tag because he's fed up of seeing these videos online, because these people have young impressionable audiences who will follow every word that these people are saying and take it as the gospel truth, and they may not ever consider veganism as a lifestyle ever again, which I think is a real shame because it's a beautiful way to live. I can vouch for it. So yes, Michael Liggins created this tag. Why I'm still vegan and why I always will be. And I have been tagged by my good friend Dan. Daniel Peers. Hi Dan, thank you very much. So, the main reason why I am vegan is because of ethical reasons, as I'm sure many of you know. So, I believe that killing animals is wrong. Simple as that. And I believe that a lot of other people do too. They just don't think about it every day. There's a massive disconnect with people and their food, and where their food came from. I first went vegan when I came across a video of a girl going through her makeup bag, and she was taking out all of the products that were tested on animals and marking them off with a marker pen to so that she could use them up, and then she could replace them with a cruelty-free version when she had done so. I instantly did exactly the same thing because it was the obvious thing to do. That was just, you know, makeup is already an unnecessary vanity that doesn't need to be around. Like, nobody needs makeup in their life, and so to have makeup that was tested on animals, or to be buying makeup that was tested on animals, was completely absurd. So that was like the first proper change that I made, and it led me on to more information about animal welfare in general, and I learnt a lot more about animal agriculture. So I obviously started thinking a lot about eating meat and how you know, when you're eating something on a plate, you don't think about it as a dead animal or like a piece of flesh. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. And I just started to realise that that's what it was. And I started to feel the textures of it in my mouth. And it was weird. It was weird. And I was thinking about it a lot. Then I learnt more about things like the dairy industry, which I always just assumed was a natural industry. I had been led to believe growing up that cows just produced milk for humans to take and consume. I thought they just produced milk, and if you didn't milk a cow, their udders would swell up and they'd get really sore and, you know, pop or something. Like, I just thought you had to milk a cow. That's not true. It's not true. It's lies. Let me tell you about the dairy industry. Just let me just tell you a little bit about the dairy industry. Let me just take a sip of my decaf tea. So, the dairy industry, right, where do I start? Now, when a female cow and a male cow love each other very much, they get certain urges. In the natural world, a female cow and a male cow will mate, which will on occasion, make the female cow pregnant. The female cow will then start to lactate, ready for when her baby is born. When her baby is born, the baby will drink the milk of the cow. Perfectly normal, perfectly natural, nature. Then humans came along. One man or woman, not being sexist. One man came along one day, looked at that process and thought, oh, that calf's drinking its mother's milk. I think I want to do that. That looks pretty good. So he did that, and popularity, it caught on, basically. And obviously demand grew for dairy. Now, as popularity grew, you need to kind of keep up the demand for something as popularity grows for it. So you need to make it as efficient and as profitable as possible. So nowadays, farmers do not wait for a bull and a cow. Female cow, do they have an official name? A bull and a female cow. They don't wait for them to, get it on. They don't wait around for that. They will stick an electric rod up a bull's anus to force him to ejaculate, which they then collect. They then get some kind of tube pump thing, which they then use to artificially inseminate the female cow. They do this by putting their arm into the female's anus, feeling for her cervix to hold it in place, while they put a metal rod into her vagina through the cervix, and then they inject her with the semen to impregnate her. They do this until she is pregnant. And then obviously once the cow is pregnant, she will start to lactate and we will start to milk her. When the calf is born, it will either be male or female. If it's male, it will most likely be raised for veal. And if it's female, it will be raised to be a dairy cow, just like mum. Just a quick note in here, veal is seen as quite a cruel part of the meat industry. A lot of meat eaters choose not to consume veal because of its bad reputation. However, veal is directly linked to the dairy industry. Veal is simply a byproduct of the dairy industry. The female cow will have this happen to her again and again until she's too tired to carry on, and then she will be slaughtered for cheap meat, which basically means she'll end up at fast food restaurants like McDonald's. So that is essentially the dairy industry. When I found out about it, I was like, I'm not okay with that. I don't want to eat dairy anymore. It's one of the core reasons why I'm vegan and not vegetarian. Not eating meat is easier for people to wrap their heads around, because obviously they don't know about the dairy industry. A lot of people still don't know about it. But people can wrap their heads around the idea of not liking the idea of eating meat, because you kind of know that it's from the animal directly, like it's a piece of an animal. So yeah, the dairy industry, that is one of the main reasons why I am vegan, and why I always will be vegan, because the dairy industry is fucking grim. Now, we on planet Earth, we're growing enough plant foods to feed about 10 billion people. I think, there's only 7 billion people on this planet. 36% of our crops are fed to livestock. About 800 million people on this earth don't have enough food to eat, or they're starving. There's an imbalance there. We're growing more than enough food for people on this planet, but we still have people that starve. Not okay. It's not okay. Obviously, there's a massive environmental impact. The animal agriculture industry, gives off enough air pollution. It's more than all transportation combined. That's all ships, boats, planes, cars, trains, all of that combined. Animal agriculture weighs out more than that. nuts. That was one of the things that really smacked me in the head when I was learning about all of this. It was mind-blowing. All this one weekend in November 2016 that just blew my mind. Highly recommend watching Cowspiracy if you haven't already. And I'd also recommend watching Earthlings. That's a documentary about all the ways in which humanity exploits animals. And Cowspiracy is about the environmental impact. If you'd like one about health, I would suggest Forks Over Knives. I found that one to be quite informative. A lot of people really like What the Health. I haven't seen that one, but I would like to. If you want something more funny, I would suggest a mockumentary called Carnage. Really funny vegan documentary, but it still manages to like open your eyes and make you think. There's also a really good speech on YouTube that you can watch. It's about an hour and a half long, but it's very worth it. It's called 101 Reasons to Go Vegan, and it's basically this guy. He does talks around schools, and I think he hires out venues and does lectures just to the general public. And this is one of those lectures that he's just recorded and put online, and it is brilliant. So I would highly recommend watching that as well, after you watch this video. Another note, you know, compassion aside, there are so many examples of healthy, happy, long-term vegans out there. So many doctors and scientists that approve this lifestyle as being perfectly adequate for life through pregnancy, for infancy, that I could never go back on veganism, ever. If I somehow in the future come across some kind of health problem, I'm going to find a way to fix it. I'm not just going to give up on veganism because something went wrong. I'd never choose to benefit my life over the life of an animal's. That's just not something that I want to do. So I think I'm just going to wrap up this video by saying that I'm always worried that people think that I'm two-faced, because when I'm with my friends, who a lot of them do eat meat, dairy and eggs, a lot of my friends and family eat meat, dairy and eggs, and I love these people dearly, and I do worry that they think I'm two-faced, because when I'm with them, you know, I don't shout at them or give them grief for eating meat when I'm with them, and then obviously later on I'll share something about animal rights. I'm vegan because, you know, I believe that the animals on this planet do not deserve the treatment that they receive from humans. We treat animals worse than, you know, paedophiles and murderers in prison. And, you know, animals are the most innocent creatures on this planet. They're just trying to live their life like we are. Every animal on this planet is living their life from their own individual perspective. Just because we took the lead doesn't mean that we need to, you know, take advantage of them. And I believe that animals don't deserve the shit that they get. Going back to, you know, people thinking I'm two-faced, I love meat, dairy and egg eaters. I love them with all my heart, and I believe that almost all animal product consumers, you know, I believe that they're good people that are just doing bad things. That's why I'm an activist. I don't go out and argue with people. I go and have conversations with people, because I believe that life is for living, but I also think that it's fighting for those who don't have the privilege of living. Animals go into slaughterhouses and they're scared and they're confused. They come out chopped up into tiny pieces, and people believe that something humane happens along the way. I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Yeah. Thanks, Dan, for tagging me in this video. I'm going to put who I tag in my description up there. Yeah, I hope this video is helpful to some of you. Bro, Thanks for watching. Bye.